This,
All of my stuff says 5:28, but
huh?
I said all of my stuff says 5:28.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the mics on or anything yet.
That's okay. Let me know when it's 5:30 and we'll go from there. That way people won't miss part of it.
Okay.
I was just going by the clock on the wall back there.
Sounds like we need to fix that too.
Yeah. Make sure I did, but I think I did.
What, are people just smoking less or something?
Yeah, really.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's the thing. And another thing too is I'm not 100% sure. Call the meeting to order. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is discuss possibly approve the minutes of the January 9th, 2024 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? Call for the vote.
Sorry, I'm not used to these. Trammell,
Yes.
Miller,
Abstain?
Shropshire,
Yes. Okay, number 3, mayor's report.
Y'all have in front of you the tax totals for the month. Numbers that came in this week. We've got $935,029.44 in the sales tax. The use tax, $124,920.89, and tobacco is $48.55.90. I think it's kind of interesting that our use tax is highest that I've seen in a while. I don't think, looking back through the 5-year, we had a couple of months about this time where we were 140, 160. 2019 we had 139. So we get about one good month a year.
I'll bet you the reason for that was COVID. People were locked up inside and
Oh,
so.
I'm sure.
So that use tax was probably from people ordering from
Oh,
Amazon.
yeah, we know that June and 21 and 22 was there, so.
Now, this is only through the 13th? Or on February, since it's, or is it,
This is for last month's.
We're
last
always a month behind.
Yeah.
oh, we're always a month behind, so this is actually January's.
This
total.
is 2 months behind, so this would be December's. number.
December's, oh, okay,
So
gotcha.
that's probably why it's so high, because people were ordering online for Christmas.
Right, okay, good.
And so you'll see on the other side, this is just the bar graph trend there, Travis.
Yeah,
Of what you've got.
Yep.
All right, so we like those numbers to be up a little bit. So how does that break down? We've got, where did it go? There we go.
Oops. My apologies.
Hi-ho.
Turn that off too.
All right. At
Thanks, Charles.
$935.29, $438,295 of that came into the general fund. You guys can see those breakdowns. You've got that sheet on the, are you familiar with this one, Travis?
Sure am.
So, you see where that broke down. I want to kind of let Courtney talk a little bit about some of the finds that we found as we go into the financial reports. We found that there were some issues with coding and how it was written and since I wasn't here for that discussion.
Well, we learned, thanks to Charles Trammell, bringing it to my attention, that some of the coding on the financial statements, which is what the software does on the back end to generate these numbers, it's what tells the software what to do. Some of that wasn't coded correctly to correctly account for everything in our financial statement. So I got with this Cassell, they got that fixed, and it didn't make a big difference. I wish it found us an extra $1 million or two. Didn't work out like that, but it did get actually correct, so everything actually matches up now.
So, this is so intriguing to me as an accountant, as an auditor.
I know.
Was the coding in the Cassell software itself incorrect?
Yes, so it was something,
That
because
is
the report that we
mind-boggling.
the report that we use to run these financial statements was created by Cassell in 2022, and my personal observation is that it seems like that issue may have been further back than that report that was created in 2022. However, Cassell offers this option, as most softwares do, for tracking purposes, to set up things to show you who accessed what, when, where, logging the information. That was never set up, so I can't really go back to see who edited that report and when or how it all got set up and stuff. It's set up now, but I can't go back to
Super.
that time. Yeah.
I did notice, if I could ask, and you don't have to, I don't know if you're gonna have the answer tonight, if you could just get it for us. Whenever you revised the statements, do I have the restated? Yeah, whenever you restated them, maybe I didn't bring it. There was out of the cash, there was one in there. Do you have the old ones?
I've got both of them. Yeah.
Perfect. There was it this one? I'll have to, I didn't bring the right one. There was like a $19,000 amount that just went away.
Like an expenditure?
No,
Or was
it was
revenue?
on the, in the assets page of the front. It was in the 02000 accounts, I believe. And it was, I can get with you tomorrow if I need to.
Yeah, so say, find that for me.
The only
tomorrow.
19,000 is that flexible spending.
That was it.
Because, so the budgeting issue that you were talking about, that was the flexible spending. So it went away because I actually applied it to our fiscal year budget, so it populates on the reports now. So it just reallocated it. That's what
Is
happened.
this
Within,
the restated one?
So
Yes.
it's now located on the financial statement. He might not have that page there, but it's gonna be page 5.
Yeah, he's got it.
I've
Okay.
got them.
And it is,
And I haven't gone line by line throughout. Obviously, I
you're
don't know if I'm going to.
oh my gosh, where did it go? It might not show up on this one because we didn't spend any money out of it, but it'll show up on the next one. It'll show up under the 201 stuff. It'll have that money allocated for the budget. And we don't
Okay.
spend usually any money out of that line item until the end of the year, so it won't have any money, it shouldn't have any money expended out of it.
Okay,
Well-
no worries.
But yeah, that's what happened to it.
It did change fund balance, it changed some of those things, from what they were to what they are now, so.
It did help the bottom line for the general fund, I noticed that.
Yeah,
We
Yeah,
had a
we went
loss, but we
from-
didn't have as bad.
yeah.
We went from a fund balance, that 3010 fund balance from 1,656,000 to 1,753,000.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
but you also see at the top that the cash and combined cash fund went down. So I think it just kind of puts everything where it needs to be. So the thing to remember is, as we go through, and I say we very loosely, it's those that are working on these and cleaning up things, finding where technology wasn't the friend before. And so as we find these things and we clean them up, we're just gonna continue to work on it.
Sure.
We're not even a year in, and to be able to look at what we've done, look at what we've found accounts, we've talked about how we're gonna do the budget this next year versus how we've done it in the past. We're gonna use the programs that Cassell has, the things that those offer, but it'll also allow us to, right before this meeting, we're discussing, it will allow us to do encumbrances by line, by account. We can go through and do it by department. That old worksheet that we've been doing
Yeah.
probably won't be around this year. So we'll do it through Cassell, we can pull all the lines, that'll allow us to clean up some of those. You know, if you look at the street department, financials, you'll see that there's, you know, asphalt overlay, and that account title is in there like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And so, you know, for the longest time, why, we've got to, why, I get it that it was for this project and then we had it for this project. But what that's done is that's created an opportunity for human error. That's created that opportunity for, well, let's deposit it into asphalt overlay, okay, that one. And so we really need to be able to pull those out by department, line by line, print every account for those departments and then see what we have, and then go through there and get it cleaned up. And so that's kind of the things that Courtney's learning how to do on Cassell with her team will translate directly into how we operationally run ours. And
Sure.
and how we make those changes. So, you know, patience is the key. Remembering that these statements are still, whether we like it or not, 40 to 50 days behind the close of the month. Jeff does not have numbers until those numbers come from
Right.
Courtney and Lori. And if Courtney and Lori have those numbers, then those are the numbers that Jeff is gonna have.
Yep.
And so, you know, just remember to exercise patience as we go forward. Exercise patience in explaining to some of the others that aren't on the budget committee that we just have to wait for those to be processed. And I'm okay waiting another couple days if it means that we find a problem like we found.
And with the things that we've fixed or changed or found and fixed, Lori told me the other night, I've known this the entire time, but I guess I never really put it in perspective like she said it the other night, but she said that with all of the changes that I've made into how we process our financials, she was going from 90-hour work months to less than 20.
Wow.
Good.
And just hearing it like that just was like, wow, we've made significant improvements in how we process everything.
And it's probably a lot more accurate too.
Yes, and look how many changes. has
Does
been-
she uses Cassell as well, right? She has
Yes.
access and uses that
Yep.
as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
she uses
And we
Cassell.
did have a little period, just for referencing, we had a little period where we were having some issues with the server. So the department heads, me, and some others were off. We had to work it out. Some of these things just take time.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, I can tell you that as soon as you guys get the numbers, I'm getting the numbers too. So
Yeah, I literally send it all in the same email. He doesn't get anything before anybody
I've
else does.
often said, stop, let me get them first.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're just trying to remain as transparent as we can, keep those numbers there, and you'll see that I think the changes that were made are gonna benefit us going forward in terms of accuracy. But really, the trick is gonna be as we go forward and starting our next budget season, preparation for the budget, you're gonna see that I think we're gonna find some stuff, and we just need to know that that's coming.
Yeah.
Just know there will
My
be
cleanup
these-
definitely is not done. There's still so much that I need to do.
And we'll be able to go in and, you know, rename those where, you know, like the account in the general fund 201s where it's promotional. You know what that actually pays? That's the 15,000, 20,000 we give Main Street. Why doesn't it say Main Street? So those are the kind of things we wanna clean up. We wanna get rid of all these extras, all the stuff that's been floating there. Some of it's way back from when we're doing it on paper, and we'll get those, we'll work with Jeff and go forward, so. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Courtney, for
It's
doing
gonna
that.
take time,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks for all your work.
Thanks for the patience with it.
Yeah.
It's fun finding new stuff every single month that
I
we
bet
have
it
to
is fun.
figure out, but I'm so proud of all the progress we made. It's incredible.
Oh,
Hey, one last question. Is Jeff gonna be at the council meeting Tuesday night? Is that the,
Yeah, that's the
Plan.
plan.
thank you.
Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding 3 purchase orders totaling $15,680 to Infrastructure Solutions Group LLC for PRY-21-03-01 for front entrance awning study, PRY-21-08-01 for roof replacement, PR 22-01 for fitness court pad, PR 22-02-01 for HVAC replacement from the account to be decided. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
All right, who wants me to clarify this problem?
This is the,
All right,
Gorilla in the room
let's
right
start
now.
from the very beginning. We'll go sound of music. Start from the very beginning. On my third or fourth day in office, I met with Steve Powell and Dale Burke. Dale Burke is the president of Infrastructure Solutions. You all have met him. He's a wonderful guy. Steve Powell handed me an envelope in that meeting. It was about a half an inch thick. And he goes, "There you go, Mayor." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Those are invoices that have not been paid." I said, "Were they submitted?" And there were some comments about whether they had been given to somebody in particular or not, or whatever. They had not been. Our opinion is that those had not been submitted. When I went into Cheryl, before she retired, she had kept meticulously, she has a document that has all of these PRY numbers. And we went all the way back to 2016. And none of those invoices were on her list of things that had been received. Her process was, when this invoice comes in, she adds it immediately to the list. That list was about 10 pages long. None of them were on there, so they hadn't been submitted. The other thing was that we were questioning the dates. Were they too old? Did they put us in a situation of, they're too old? There's, what do you call that? A
Delinquent.
loophole in the law, a little law that says.
they have to be submitted
Correct,
yearly.
correct. And so the problem was, if you look at these, you can see there on the top right-hand corner, they're all dated December 26, 2022. The first one was from 2022, 2022, 2021. PRY 21 means it was from 21. So,
Fiscal year 21.
well, yeah.
Okay.
No, that
No,
runs calendar year.
That's the
Those
calendar
are calendar
year, I'm
years.
sorry.
It's for prior, calendar year, project
Month,
number.
right.
Oh, I see now.
And so, being that I was not here for that, we have to go off of the evidence that's given us, right? So we went in and we kind of strummed through. The total of those unpaid invoices was $125,000, give or take a couple 22 cents, I don't know. The idea is, we had the work done. So we can take two routes. We can argue it and risk having to go to litigation with our engineering firm on us not paying an invoice that we don't want to have to pay. Or we can say, we had the work done, we'll work it out, we'll figure out how to get it paid. So in multiple conversations with Dale about this, mind you, Dale is president and CEO of Infrastructure Solutions. He gets to make the call. Dale's comment was, just do what you can do. And I think that's what he said when Courtney was in the room with us. And we said, well, we'll look at them, we'll see what we can do. You know the situation where we're at, we'll figure it out. $125,000 in a lump sum will make you sick to your stomach, on top of everything else we have to pay for, right? So we kind of sat on it a little while. And then we got back to first of the year, and I was visiting with Dale. We were traveling from a project, and he said, "Zach, what can we do? How can we do this? I don't care if it's a little bit at a time, but $125,000 is a lot of money. How can you do it?" And I said, "Well, we'll look at it and we'll see how we can break it down." So I took them and I broke them down into the department that the work was originated from: street and drainage, rec, parks, what would be city hall type stuff, etc. The first one we're working on is the rec. So we need to be very clear that this is not one PO. We're not dealing with one PO. The approval for the $15,000, the $15,680, that's the lump sum of all of these invoices.
Let me clarify a little bit. It would be one PO because it's gonna be one check going to them if we pay for this full thing, but it's 3 separate invoices.
Right, so
Got it.
so when you guys tabled this last week, you realized that the account that the rec sent over to pay that out of did not have sufficient in it.
Right.
So visiting with Mike today, we're gonna look at what accounts we can pay these out of.
Can it come out of some capital?
Yes and no. The problem is that they've got air conditioners that they've committed to. That's $75,000 right off the top of that. So you look at outside services, you look at repair and maintenance. The rec center is just at a point where it's 20 years old. things need to be repaired, and maintenance has not been a priority. Not that it's been ignored, but we haven't had the detail that it needs now. Now it's in a situation where we need to get things repaired. We need the ACs that are falling apart repaired. We need pool pumps. We need all of those things done. That's an asset to the city. We need to start taking care of it. So what we're gonna do going forward is we're gonna look at, like say for example, PRY 21301. Can that be paid out of capital, since that's the front entryway? We're gonna fine tune that a little more and see where we can pay those out of.
Roof
Yeah.
replacement also.
Yep. So it's just a matter of finding what we've got available for that. So, we'll probably bring it back to I guess we'll bring it back to you guys next month, or we can bring it back to the council meeting Tuesday, whatever you guys prefer.
Can we approve it tonight to go to the council with the account added, will y'all be able to do it by Tuesday night to have the account identified?
We'll probably have it figured out by tomorrow afternoon where we
Yes,
need
or
to
say
go.
by the time we post the agenda.
Yeah,
Okay,
So we would be able to pass it on to the council tonight
with the
with the
With the
contingent,
stipulation.
line items.
with the contingent on the line item having money.
Yeah.
yeah, and it may be, I'm just gonna throw it out there, it may be that on this month or whatever, that 2 of them get paid, okay? Dale is okay with that, we don't have to do lump sums. He realizes he was not a happy camper when that envelope was handed to me. He was unaware of that.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
So who generated the invoices? Him? Him?
They
His
were
company?
generated,
They were generated before,
Dale?
they were
Well,
generated
he
by
signed it,
Steve.
he signed it, so somewhere he signed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if you look at the date, that's in December of
right.
2022.
So Dale has been really cool about it. Dale is, he's not gonna withhold services because we owe these.
Well, I guess where I was going with that question, Mayor, is do we know why, first of all, they weren't submitted timely?
So,
And number two, they weren't submitted through the normal process, which I believe is through your office.
so there were a lot of projects, and I'm just gonna say this is me speaking off the cuff, okay? There were a lot of projects that were, hey, Steve, would you? Hey, Steve, do this. Hey, Steve, do that. And I don't know, I'm not gonna villainize anybody, but I don't know that the record keeping on the Hey, Steve projects was what it needed to be. And
for
so-
us or them.
For us or them, very clearly for us or them. And so what happens is Steve's getting ready to retire, take his sabbatical. We thought he was done. And here he says, oh, before I go, here's some work I did. Which, my opinion is, that's not the way you do business.
Well, wouldn't he have been paid through infrastructure
Yeah.
for his hours?
You would think he'd be paid through it. I don't know how his pay scale works.
It
through the
was
company.
invoiced to us,
Right.
just like these were. It was invoiced to us, and other things were paid on a monthly basis.
Right.
But not these specific
There were,
invoices.
here's what you've got to understand, there were so many projects. And like I said just before the meeting, Steve was up here every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Steve also was working for MUB, and it was just constant. We had little projects that somebody else should have done, couldn't do, so we're gonna pass it off to Steve. Steve sends us a bill. That bill is outrageous. So you look at, hey, Steve, go make sure that this is good. Hey, Steve, go do this plan review. It was so easy to just use and abuse having an on-site everyday engineer that the funds we had were just, there was no regard for it. That's the bottom line. We took advantage of having him in the building without considering every time you say, hey, Steve, it came with a cost.
That's $200 an hour.
Sometimes 4, sometimes more. Some of these invoices for other things, we have $800 an hour projects. When Steve left, one of the appealing things about Dale is that Dale, and again, I share this not for you rhetorically, but for all those ears that are listening, is that Dale is not by the hour, Dale is by the job. By the job puts his expense, his cost into the project. Now, there may be an opportunity come up sometime where there's a huge change order and we have to go, hey, we're gonna have to pay him a little bit more for this change, but whatever is, what we're not getting is, well, but I put in 4 extra hours on Friday, and I did 4 extra hours here, and we're by the job. So when the job is bid, when those contracts come out, we pretty much know exactly what we're gonna pay Dale. And the other thing is Dale is not here every day. We see Dale, what, maybe once a month? We talk to him frequently. A lot of those conversations we're not billed for. But not having him in-house has allowed us to save a ton of money. Not paying by the hour saves us a ton of money. But I also think we're getting what we need out of it. And so, you know, if we have jobs that, say for example, sign reviews, sign applications and things, you put in a business, you wanna put up a sign, listen, I got somebody in-house that can do that. I don't need to pay an engineer to come in and do it and tell them, and it's just layer upon layer. I can turn to somebody else and go, please go approve that. You now have sign reviews. You are an employee of the city. That's your task. Where before it was, hey, Steve. So for clarification, that's kind of where we're at, is that these were dumped on us. It was kind of a shock to all. But we're gonna keep our integrity intact, and we're gonna pay what we had work done for. That doesn't mean we're not gonna say, explain this to me, because nobody has I'm just pointing here, but we're not gonna say, Dale, nobody knows what this task was. Can you explain to us why we have this bill?
That's what I was gonna ask.
So-
Do we know these are legitimate?
Yes, I checked that too, just to make sure when I was checking to make
So
sure that they were
someone
paid.
actually
These
asked for
projects
this.
actually did occur, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so those things were checked. That's part of what's taken us so long is.
We
you
have to
know,
go through an
divide it
extensive
out.
list.
I had on
Yeah.
my desk, I don't know if you guys remember, a few months ago, it was the whole desk, and they were all spread out, and it was like pulling my hair out, and I went through item by item, saying, okay, well, that's street, that goes to Buddy's pile, that's street, that's drainage, that goes here, that's the park thing, that's here. Trying to divvy it out so that it eases that blow a little, and those departments that can help share the load of paying that off. And when you look at it like that, it's not quite as intimidating. But we need to pay for what we have done. Whether it was me doing it or Larry doing it, it doesn't matter. The city had it done, and we need to be right on
I agree.
our debts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if we got the service, we need to pay for the service. Would it be possible to get for the council, all the council, to get a listing of these, just of all the invoices? Not,
Can I give you the PRY number and the amount?
And
Because it's a big stack.
essentially.
yeah, that's
what
all
the
I'm, yeah, I
project
don't want every single invoice. I want a spreadsheet with just the
Just-
PY, just so we can see what's coming
Yeah,
down
yeah,
the
we
road
can-
for us.
we can-
That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, we can put that together. That's-
Okay.
But hopefully that'll share some light, and as we go forward over the next couple months, you're gonna see these come in to the rec, to the street.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
just know that, like here, where the rec approved the 15,000, if we need to break that down, in talking with the rec board, they're okay with that. The rec board just said, yeah, let's pay that $15,000 share of ours. So we just have to be careful how we pay. We don't wanna split POs, we don't wanna do that, so we may have to divvy them out a little differently but we're gonna do everything we can to stay.
Again, Mayor, all I'm looking for is just kind of the big picture, so we know
Yeah.
what's coming down the
And,
road.
and we've kept Chasen in line on this. He's aware of the situation. He knows our game plan. He's approved it. He says that's probably the best way to handle it. He also said if you don't pay them, be prepared to go to court.
Well, sure.
And I don't really wanna take that on, because that's just not the direction we wanna go.
Well, let's say then that if you guys can come up with the line items and things, or lines that you want to pull this stuff through, and you want to bring it before the council next week, well, that would be fine. If you don't, and we need to come back to the budget committee again, then we can do that
In all
also.
honesty, I'd love to ask you guys if that would be okay if we just prepare it for council. And I just don't wanna keep
I don't see
stalling
a
out,
problem.
Exactly. I
you
mean,
know?
Right.
You know, like Dale said,
it'll be another month if you bring it back to the budget
I know.
committee.
the tender mercy is that Dale is being really cool right now about this.
Let's don't mess that up,
He's
yeah.
still doing services for us, he's still doing what we need. His plea was, Zach, it's $125,000, I don't care what company you are, that's a lot of money.
It
Can
is. Mm-hmm.
we do something? And I said, we will do something. So we'll prepare it for a presentation for the council to approve on Tuesday.
Okay,
Super.
All right?
all right, further discussion? Call for the vote?
Malure,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Okay, number 5, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding an expenditure in the amount of $2,593 from the fire repair and maintenance account number 02-217-5019, and the current balance is $11,171.29, to the fire programs for annual access support and updates. This software is used to run reports and logs runs at the fire department.
I'll make a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. I talked to BK today, and this is a program that they have used for, I think, since back in the 1980s. So this is just renewing that program and being able to get the updates and everything for it. Further discussion?
No.
Everybody good with it? Okay, call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
All right. Number 6, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding promotion of Dustin Hopper to Assistant Superintendent at the Pryor Creek Park Department at Range E, Step 2. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion?
This was budgeted. So when we went through and did the budget, we put into Frank's budget this promotion at mid-year. So that has been, when the budget was approved, this was included in that salary. Frank was more than okay waiting till mid-year, but this is something he's been wanting to do for a while.
Is this gonna create a job vacancy for you, Frank? Or, I mean, if you promote, is they're gonna,
It has come to me from, like, in the other mayors, whatever. Dusty actually worked for me a few years ago, and he was the only other assistant I've ever had. At that time, he worked for me at the cemetery. He left due to some personal reasons. Anyways, when I had an opening a couple years ago, he came back to me, and he now works for me in the park. So he's familiar with both departments, and he worked at the cemetery before. He's already been my assistant. I've gone several years, with no kind of backup, if I'm off or down, so. No, it won't create an opening. He's still gonna go do his normal duties, but it's more or less.
he's just your backup.
Just more or less, if I can't be around or do something, he'll be in charge.
How much more money are we talking if it's just a promotion? Is it,
I can get you those numbers.
I mean, not to the penny, just,
His salary,
yeah, how,
like from 39 something to
Like to
42.
42.
It's almost 3,500.
for over the year, so,
And that's a normal, I mean, that's.
That's a
we've
normal
got that
step.
on our range.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's like 42 something.
Yeah. 'Cause he's already a operator.
Okay.
He's been around for a while, too.
Mhm.
Yeah. He knows the system. He knows all of the parks and stuff, so.
Thank you, sir.
Further discussion? Okay, now, this, if we okay it here, it goes before the council to be approved, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so we're approving it to go before the council.
Yep.
All right. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Call for the vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes? Okay, unforeseen business, I know of any. Mayor, we got any?
No, just a little note, in the packet originally, there were 3 extra sheets for the fire. Those
Right.
items didn't make it onto the agenda. BK will bring that back next month.
Right, that's a
Ignore
camera.
those extra sheets.
Yeah. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Call for the vote.
Malure,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes,
Trammell.
Yes.
we are adjourned. Thank you.
All right, still got an hour to vote. Yeah.
All right. I can't go vote.
Yeah, he can't.
I can't